All right, greetings. So, turn up the video speed. I understand why corporations hate this technology because, in my mind, a lot of corporations are basically like petty drug dealers. And you definitely see this in the gaming community or any sort of technology. Where am I going with this? This is Freedom Phil. Like, subscribe. Let's get into it. And hey, turn up the video speed. I love the technology of an SD card where you can swap it from this thing to this thing over here, bada bing, bada boom. So your MP3s, your movies, your photos, your everything, you just easily switch it over. That's how it's supposed to be. And they make it harder and harder to do this for a reason because they understand that if you have an MP3 or something, you're not going to pay them a monthly fee for that. So for people that hate the idea of taxes, because taxes is theft, well, service fees are also theft. Monthly fees are also another form of that, where you have to pay for the same thing you already paid for every month over and over again. Isn't that kind of ridiculous? As where when I turn on the airwave TV or the radio, I can just enjoy it. And sure, they pay for that by showing me some ads, usually the same ads over and over again. But then again, how's that any different than your YouTube experience? And look, I get it. I get it. This is the new model. Like you make, and what's funny about with the gaming aspect of it, you guys don't even make the games cheap. You're like, you want $70 or even more. Like, who's going to break the $100 mark? I mean, it's going to have to be one hell of a game to do that. But then you want to have a live service, this fee, that fee, and just like with the MP3 situation, where I should be able to take my SD card and move it from this phone to that phone. And they're like, well, what's the big deal? Why isn't it working? You put it into another Android phone, because I've ragged on Apple for years about their whole ecosystem nonsense. I think it's retarded because then the ecosystem is designed. They don't want you having your information on your own private thing because then you're not going to pay them. But Android does the same crap where it's like you switch it over from this phone to that phone. And what happens? They're like, oh, there's corrupted files on here. Translation. You don't like the fact that I got an MP3 or something, do you? So you want me to erase all of this, including the photos and all the other crap, so I can do this. So then I have to pull this off, this information, put it on a computer, and then extract that information and put it onto the new unit. You purposely make things complicated, so we'll sign up for a service just to be able to have the same we have. And maybe that would be okay if not for one major thing. Some of the music that I like, I know that some of it, people had channels back in the day and they've disappeared. I didn't mind listening to in their videos. I'm driving on the freeway. You always have service on the freeway when I was trucking. And yeah, I would enjoy it along the way. But then one day, I don't know, somebody files a DMC, false flags or whatever, and then whole channels disappear. Whole forms of music disappear. Maybe somebody said the wrong thing and they got blacklisted and bada bing, bada boom. We don't get to enjoy that anymore. That's why I started making MP3s of things, because there's a lot of weird, obscure crap. For instance, I'm never going to hear normally all the Putumayo stuff, Putumayo music stuff. I'm not going to hear a channel that's like a weird hippie channel I grew up with normally. That's hard to find. You're like, well, you could make a Pandora. So what's I can pay for this service, that service? That's the problem I have with it. I like the idea, just like old school gaming. And honestly, I give Nintendo credit for this. When I buy a cartridge for my Nintendo Switch or go order online like a good used game for my DSs, because, hey, some of those old games really kick ass. I own it. It's my copy. I don't need to be connected to the internet or anything. I can just enjoy it. And, I don't know, man. Maybe they're conditioning everybody to live in the pods, like they say, or it's like, well, you'll own nothing and be happier. No. I'd like to own a few things that I actually enjoy because that makes me happy. I don't know. I'm pissed off right now. So anyways, this is Freedom Phil. Y'all have a great night. Take it easy.